in Salzburg, Hauptbahnhof.
With Mozart, there is not one note which doesn't have a dramatic importance.
Conductor Louis Langret.
Not only harmonic or whatever, it's why does Mozart put pum 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 in an accompaniment and not or or jam pam 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 pam. In a symphony, you have to find it. But when suddenly you find a logic, then it's fantastic.
Conscious of being here, being in Salzburg, his hometown. Mozart is everywhere, and the city is really present. And I mean, sometimes his music is so perfect, so beautiful, so ideal, and I think behind that perfection, there is a man with a lot of, wit and plenty of life. It's like eating chocolate first, chocolate second, and dessert chocolate. I don't think his music is like that. It's something a bit more spicy and varied and, with beauty, with humor, with irony.
From Salzburg, Austria, the city where Mozart was born, it's a celebration of Mozart.
Behind that door is our main storage. That's where we preserve all the original manuscripts by Mozart and also by the other members of the family. This is a fragment of a mass composition at the beginning of a Kyrie, which Mozart started to compose but never finished. And he used the paper for some little drawings and some notes in French. And he also drew a little face up there, and it's probably just like we do when we're on the phone and drawing something on a piece of paper.
Well, you feel Mozart the performer in the way how he writes for your instrument. The case of the C minor concerto. It's not a concerto for showing the virtuosity. It's not a showpiece. Everything makes sense. Every note expresses something. And here you can see that, yes, Mozart didn't write it as a showpiece, but really for himself, the musician and the keyboard instrument player.
Here we have a real, authentic portrait, Mozart in his gala dress, a young star, a young diva. I think from the portraits he was very similar to his mother. He was a really small guy, he had great eyes.
When he wasn't traveling, Mozart was kept busy composing and performing music, religious music mostly, for the Prince Archbishop here in Salzburg. If you attended Mass here in Salzburg's cathedral one Sunday morning in 1780, you may have been one of the first listeners anywhere to have heard Mozart's Mass in C, the Missa Solemnis, Kirche number 337.
Music, very especially, it's our way to understand mystery of universe. There is always something that is not understandable. And I think music, in its most pure approach, is something that is the mirror of that mystery. So it's for us that kind of a miracle to have access to understand something that is not understandable.
Pianist Maria João Pires with conductor Gustavo Dudamel and the Vienna Philharmonic. Maria João Pires and a host of other talented musicians and thousands of visitors have come from Austria, France, the United States, Germany, Great Britain, Brazil, Spain, Russia and around the world here to Salzburg, city of Mozart's birth, to celebrate Mozart, to visit the open-air markets where Mozart's family shopped, or pause for a coffee in a cafe frequented by Mozart and his family.
The Mozart family lived close to here. We are right in the middle of Salzburg in the so-called Café Tomaselli. In Mozart's days it had a different name. The name was Café Steiger. And what makes it peculiar is the fact that the Mozart family came here from time to time to have a cup of coffee. The daily life was hard for most people, probably including the Mozart family. The day was more or less defined by the daylight. You would need to buy candles. These were expensive, and so probably most of the daily life stopped fairly early in the evening, and people would spend their time in small rooms playing together music or reading books as much as you can with one single candle.
But most of all, they have come for the music.
But I think that's part of our job as conductors, to try to engender that, a sense of collective confidence to promote that feeling. Of course, that's achieved by rehearsing well, but even the best rehearsed performance, you can get a moment of, not stage fright, but just a little bit of anxiety, So somehow you need to build on your successes internally within a piece. If something has gone really well, to take a few more risks then. So it's never something you can perfectly master. And if you could, then it would be very boring. Then our work would be over.
This is a letter that Mozart wrote to his father in 1777. A letter where Mozart says what he is not. He is not a poet, he can't write like a poet. He can't speak like a professional speaker. He can't paint and he can't dance, but I'm a musician. I can express myself through music. That's it.
I will ask him how he was able in such a short lifetime to know so much about the human soul. At any time of your lives, whatever you are living, there is an answer in Mozart.
The Mozart Festival special event from APM, American Public Media, was produced in association with Houston Public Media in cooperation with ORF, Austrian Radio, presented by the Mozarteum Foundation of Salzburg. For the Mozart Festival from Salzburg, Austria, I'm Hannes Eichmann. This is APM, American Public Media.